My name is Dawnett Walker. I have recently completed my LLB with Essex Online University. I am a Jamaican, but when I started my degree, I was living in Bermuda and working as a police officer there. I'd previously worked as a police officer in Jamaica and was recruited to work as a police officer in Bermuda. So totally, I spent 31 years working as a police officer. Um, I'm a mother of two. I have two daughters and a granddaughter. What should I say? I'm
And
single, but that there is not a lot to me. I'm the person who does not like to talk about me, so generally I find it difficult to say much about myself. So working in Bermuda, there is no college, there's no university. Well, there's a community college, there's no university. So it would be difficult to study law. There are other universities, but you would have to leave Bermuda to go to other countries to do the examination or probably get a proctor or so. So for me, staying in my home at my own convenience is most helpful for me to study online. So honestly, I didn't even know about Essex in the first instant. I just did my research. And then when I did my research, I found that this is whatever Essex is offering is compatible with what I would like to do, and particularly where they have the entire course online. And I said, well, this is the thing for me. So that's why I basically studied Essex. So studying 100% online wasn't difficult for me because I had done a master's completely online before. So it wasn't difficult for me at all. So honestly, I got the degree in the mail and I looked at it one time. I'm not the person who go all excited. You probably have people more excited for me than I'm excited for myself. As I said, because I have this high standard, yeah, I got a first class honors degree. And but you know, I don't know. It's probably a part of my personality. I'm a behind the scene person. A lot of people, I don't share with a lot of people like my achievements. I just do whatever I'm doing. So sometimes people would take it for granted that probably I'm not educated or whatever. But then to me, it is just their opinion. And so honestly, probably if I had a graduation and I go to the graduation, I might have had some kind of reaction. But getting the degree, and then this is not like my first degree. Basically, this is my third degree because I studied. I did social work many years ago, and then I did a master's. So I guess it is not. Probably if it was like my first degree, I would have been like really all excited. But I'm hoping at some point in time, I will be able to get excited and celebrate it. So my younger daughter would love to. My younger daughter, she's in Canada, and so she would love to attend. I know. I don't know if my older daughter, because she has a child and she's a lecturer. So with school and she working, I don't know if she would want to come. And again, the other younger daughter too, she's going to start lecturing in January. So I don't know. I might come by myself if I'm coming, or if they're available and they can get holidays or vacation and they can come, because I have two children and I'm single. So it's just me and them, basically. So I don't know. Probably teacher interaction. honestly, I did well. Kerry Fox was I think I think I had my second course with her, and I just found her to be a teacher. You know, as a student, if you like a teacher, you tend to do really well in the class and stuff. And so Kerry was one of those persons that I had a good relationship with as a teacher, and I was attending her. Like sometimes it was just us two at our question and answer. So I would try to go to I try to go to all my question and answers, because with all my teachers, most of the time it's just myself and the teachers. So I remember one week I missed one of Kerry's question and answer, and then when I listened to the recording, she said, she's wondering where I am because I'm always there. And then luckily for me, I was able to have her as my supervisor. And the topic that I did something on modern, human trafficking, modern slavery, that's my kind of topic. And so I was happy that I was able to look deeper into that aspect of things, because I am that kind of person. I am more a humanitarian kind of person. So wherever there's something going wrong, if I can help, or make a difference, that's where I would I try to be and stuff. And some of the other things, like when we are having discussion and so on, one of the thing I found is people generally don't want to answer. They don't want to reply to my post, because I don't know if it's because I have the police background, and then I put a lot in a post. So I would be posting something with 13, 14 references. And so if somebody has to reply to me, then I think it is going to take a lot for them to go and research what I just put up. And so I didn't get a lot of persons readily answering my post. Okay, so again, when the pandemic started, I was in Bermuda, working. But for me, again, policing bring out a certain level of discipline in you also. And so it was never any challenge, really. I can't think of any real challenge that I had, because I would just go to work, do whatever the government said to do, abide by whatever rules. So you go to work, wear my mask, do whatever, go back home and just do whatever. So it never impacted me like in any negative way. I was trying to get into law school this year, but of course I had to wait for the ratification, and my deadline for applying to the university passed, and I would have had to have the degree in hand before they would consider me. So 2020, I'm open to, not 2020, I'm 2022, I'm sorry. 2022, September, I am hoping to go to Norman Manley Law School in Jamaica. So I would have to do 2 years. And so they call it the legal certificate. So where they teach you to draft document and stuff like that. So I would like to do that for 2 years in Jamaica, and then just do law, because the thing is, again, law, it is just practice, because it's difficult. A lot of persons can't afford lawyers, and I remember, I laugh at myself now that I understand the seriousness of it. But I remember, like in 1998, 99, I was buying a piece of property, and I didn't have the money to pay for a lawyer. And I went to the office where I was doing the business, and I read the paper, and then I asked questions. I said, what does this mean? What does that mean? And I didn't have a lawyer. And I understand after that, I did I bought property and I get lawyers, but then I understand the seriousness of not having the lawyer. And for Jamaica, which is a country where you have some persons, they might be able to find the sum to pay for a house, but then the legal fee is a lot, because if you're talking about the legal fee is about 2.5 to 3%. And so if you think of somebody buying a house for $20 million, and then they're gonna have to find 3% just to pay for legal fees, I think that, barring whatever government fees that have to be paid and stuff, I would like to be able to help persons and probably put them on a payment plan and stuff like that. But the thing that excites me the most about law is family law. And I'm a mediator, I'm a trained mediator, so I used to lecture mediation for the police back in Jamaica, and I founded the mediation program for the Bermuda police. I was lecturing there. And when you look at situation like in a case of divorce or separation or so, a lot of times the children don't get a chance to have a say, because everything goes to court, and so the judge decides on whatever they think is best. And a lot of times, it might not even be the best situation. Like, for example, in our culture, people figure that mother generally gets mothers generally get the preference over fathers. And so, in situation like that, it might not be the best thing for the child. And so when you have a child who can be a part of a mediation and say to them, I would prefer to live with mommy because I would prefer to live with daddy, because if they are in an abusive situation, the child gonna want to choose the person who is not abusive, most likely, and so they have a say, or they have a say in, because I always say to people too, when a person get divorced, everything get messed up, because one person, most of the time, children have to move from the home where they were living to move with one parent. They have to sell the house, and so everything that the child know, parents think it is all about them, but then everything that a child know as safe is no longer there. They have to move, they don't have friends, they don't have and so on. So I figure that if like persons can have better dialogue, have better relationship, understand things better, have one of the parents living in the home that the children used to live, or even somewhere in that area that the child or children can maintain their friendship, just those kind of things. And so again, when you have two parents who are not communicating, the children manipulate that situation, because then they'll go to mommy and say one thing, go to daddy and say one thing, because they try to get their way. When you have a mediation in a divorce proceeding, it lends itself to communication, and it lends itself for people to not be all that bitter, and they can at least co-parent in an amicable way, instead of you going to court and the judge said this is it and you have no say. Because I said to people too that sometimes the father and the mother can live in the same home, or a mother could live in the home, and when she's gone to work and father not working, he could come and babysit. But then when the judge says this is it, that is it, and that separation, it just different, And so those are the things that I would like to concentrate on, amalgamate mediation with family law to sort of help persons better to maintain that cohesiveness as much as they are separate. So how you're separate but still can be together in some instance. Of course, in order for you to contribute, you would have to go and read and research. You can't come. It's not something that you can come and just put something, because then you're talking about your grades. And for me, I try to count every grade that I can get, and so I try to put in every effort, because I know the difference between A and a B plus is just 1 mark, or even point 0.5. So, I try my best to, at all times, to just do the best I can, even when I'm sick, it doesn't matter what. Even when we didn't have electricity, I went into my car, I got a charger plugged into my car, so I'll be able to catch up with everything and to be on time with those, because yes, the school is, yeah, you have extenuating circumstances, but of course that does not apply to your final post, your summer post. So therefore, it doesn't matter what is happening with me. I try to make that summer post that I could get, that grade, because there's a lot of grade there. So I just do whatever I had to do. And one thing that I liked about the school, well, they are included us. I in their external assessment, where the external board, our body assessing the school to see if they are up to date with stuff. And one of the things that I find, like during our discussion, was like you have people who sort of in a degree program, sort of trying, like figuring like it's a spoon feeding thing. And if you're gonna start a degree and stuff, you're gonna have to read everything. Sometimes, whether you understand it or not. And I remember at one of the sessions, because I went on 2 sessions, and I remember one, they had asked us if the school give us objectives for each course. And then one person said, no, nobody gave them objectives. And then, like, I almost get mad, because I said, you are not in high school. I said, there are objectives there on every page for the entire course and for every component, because that is what, when I used to do my journal entry, that is what helped me with my journal entry. Because if you look at the objectives, that is what they're asking you to learn. That is what the course is saying. At the end of this session, or the course, or the topic, this is what we want you to learn. And so I'm guided by the objectives. So then, like, when I heard that, I'm saying, like, no, no, no. They are objectives, and we're not in high school, so they're not going to come and tell us that this is your objective. It's there for you to read, and so on. So, for anybody who is going to listen to this, if you're doing journal entries or stuff like that, your objectives, if you read your objectives, follow your objectives, and use that to guide you, you will be able to write good journal entries.